I remember having like a piece that was given to me. It was in my freezer for like a month, and it just sat there, and I was like, nope, I'm afraid, because having had that traumatic experience with edible cannabis, just built up a fear in me of what the experience would be like, having never done psilocybin before. I had no idea what a full journey or what a micro journey would look like, and what that would, I had people describe it. I had lots of friends who use psilocybin recreationally or microdosing, mostly recreationally. There was just a fear of having another experience like I had when I ate way too much cannabis. And the fear and the helplessness that I felt when I had that experience was just so like present in my mind. Like from that moment when that happened with the cannabis, anytime it was ever even offered to me, like instant anxiety. So there was definitely a fear, but it was a fear I knew I was going to push through. I just had to push through it. I had to talk through it. I had to get reassurance. I was by myself, which I think made it extra lovely. And I was just here cleaning, kind of going about my day. I remember talking to you, just kind of like one of your recommendations of how to take it is, eat it with your morning coffee and then forget about it and just go about your day. And this wasn't a situation where I could really just kind of go about and forget about it. It was there, and I was cleaning, and I always clean with music, like filling the apartment, and music is everything to me. My roommate was gone, my child was with her father, like I was just by myself and cleaning and listening to this music, and it was just this, and I wonder if it was a little bit more potent because I was aware of it. I didn't just forget about it, and all it was me and music and a cloudy, rainy day. But I just remember kind of very slowly finding myself dancing a little more and singing and like really getting into the music more than I normally would, which is typically a lot. Like music it's everything. And then just feeling I don't want to use the term ecstatic because it didn't feel extreme in any way. It felt sustainable, if that makes sense. Like this just like sustainable joy and happiness and content and just presence in that day. A little bit of giddiness, a little bit of giggly, like when my roommate came home, I got like kind of giggly, and I think that the microdose that I had taken that day was stronger than a standard microdose. And it could have been a little bit of like placebo effect or whatever it was, but I was just giddy. And it was the most basic day, cleaning my adult chores and going to TJ Maxx. As I'm recalling it, I'm like, wow, yeah, I remember that day being incredible. And I remember reaching out to a few people that night, being like, why the fuck isn't everybody doing this? That was pretty much my reaction. Like, I almost started to get a little bit angry at the pharmaceutical industry for the solutions that it has. Not that they aren't helpful, but a tool like this, a medicine like this, there was a lot that kind of went through my mind regarding the accessibility and who it could help and how it could help and like what could this do. Being on Zoloft for as long as I was, what I realized in that cathartic release that day that I met you was that I had been so fucking numbed. And I am we're all emotional beings, right? We're all like, my feelings have been such a strong, I don't want to say grounding because sometimes my emotions take me all over the place, but it's just been such a strong part of who I am and who I've always been, and part of what I identify with. And to have realized as I was releasing all these emotions how numb I realized I had felt for so long, being on Zoloft. And then to have that experience of something that can be just as helpful, but to actually feel something was like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't realize that I had become numb on the Zoloft until I was not on it. And it feels really lovely to know that there's a tool that is helpful, but also allows me to still feel. I would say that my use has been pretty intuitive. I haven't really followed any type of like schedule or dosing. And I've also kind of used it recreationally, the microdosing, to kind of enhance experiences like concerts and live music or being out in nature. Has been a huge way that I've used it. And it's, I think after spending the past 3.5 years after becoming a mother and kind of feeling like I lost a lot of myself, it's helping to open up parts of me that have always been there, but allowing them to come to the surface again. I have plenty of friends who have used psilocybin recreationally in full journeys, and I remember my daughter's father talking to me about his experiences with it, and this is just when my curiosity about psychedelics in general, not as a let's get fucked up drug, but like a let's open up our consciousness tool. And he would explain these things to me, and I said, I feel like I've tapped into that through yoga, through meditation, you know, these things. And I'm like, I don't know if I really need that. And having lost a lot of that access in myself in the past 3.5 years, becoming a single mom, having it as a tool to use in those situations, like being out in nature at a concert, and it just like enhances those experiences for me, brings a lot of that joy back into my life and cracks it open. One of the ways that I explored using it was through my moon cycle and microdosing every day the week before I would be getting my period, just to see if it would help, because I was starting to notice a pattern with tracking my cycle of, you know, severe mood swings and tension and anxiety and all this stuff. And just kind of one month was like, well, I'm just gonna give this a shot, and took a microdose every day. And I noticed that it really helped a lot with some of my PMS symptoms. I felt a lot more calm, a lot more patient, not as kind of like extreme highs and lows of what I typically experience when I have PMS. And I found that to be really helpful, but my relationship with it has been very intuitive, and just kind of like when I feel called to it, kind of like it came to me to begin with. Not at all. Not at all. There's never been a time where I'm just like, yeah, I need more, you know? If anything, it just always feels like enough. And the effects with the microdosing I've noticed can kind of trail off in the next few days after taking one. Having never experienced a full journey before, I'm not sure how this would even relate, but with the microdose, like it's like, I imagine like addictive drugs, right? I was a nicotine user. I had a very small period of time addicted to cocaine, like those like extreme highs, extreme lows, and you just like need it again. And I couldn't say that I once felt that way with the microdosing at all. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even if I'm not taking a microdose every day, even if I'm not taking a full journey, I think in the smallest way, it's changed my life just knowing that a tool like that is out there. And in the biggest way, it reminded me of the beauty and the joy and the connectedness and just what a lot of us are missing out on in the world. I was thinking this morning about how and you and I talking about this before we started, just like work and work-life balance, and just like the stress of being a human being these days is so heavy. And there's so much more up here than we get to use and we get to experience. And psilocybin helps to turn those parts of the brain on.